Look at what I just got from OPPO. So I just received this item from OPPO and let's unpack it together. Let's go. So this right here inside has the newer lineup from OPPO. So right here is the OPPO Reno10 Pro Plus 5G and is the latest lineup from OPPO. We're gonna check it out today. First things first, let's unbox the phone. So first when you open it up, you get some manual inside and a SIM ejector tool. This is the casing right over here. It's just a normal silicone case with some protection at the side. It's a pretty good case. And after that, you will get your phone. Let's just put it at one side first and check what's underneath it. OPPO is one of the company that still gives power adapter. You get the 100-watt power adapter and also at the same time, you will get USB-A to USB-C cable. So yeah, that's it. So let's unwrap the phone. Right here is the phone. So you can see the OPPO branding at the bottom right of the phone. And also you can see the very massive camera bump, which also says powered by Mary Silicon. But from what I know, they already discontinued Mary Silicon, but this is one of the last few that they will sell. So you guys can see the camera bump. You got your main camera, your ultra wide, and also telephoto lens over here. And at the front, you get your fingerprint scanner. I really like how it looks like. The camera bump is just so big, I would say. It's just very, very big. So at the top of this phone, you have your IR blasters on the right, speaker or your mic. And at the side, you have your power button. Your power button is nicely set with this green color tinge to it, and also your volume button at the side. And at the bottom of this phone, you have your SIM tray and also your USB Type-C, your main speaker right over here. And on the other side, there's nothing. And at the back, you actually have your OPPO over here and your camera bump at the front, your flare. At the front, you have nothing. It's just your screen and your camera cutout. This actually costs $1,149 and it comes in two colors, glossy purple and also at the same time silvery grey. I actually have the 12GB RAM and the storage of 256GB. As you guys know that OPPO actually allows for expandable RAM, so you can actually use virtual RAM for 8 and 12. Theoretically, you can get 24GB of RAM. This phone weighs 194 grams and I feel like it's quite light. It comes with a 6.74 inch and a screen ratio of 93.9%. One of the best bezel-less phones. As you can see, there's like barely any bezel at the side. At the corners of this phone, it has rounded edges. Feels a lot more premium, I would say. The display is using the 3D AMOLED, has a screen resolution of Full HD+, and it supports HDR10+. It has a refresh rate of 120Hz. It has a color depth of around 10 bit. From what I know, all of the display is DCI P3, color accuracy of 100%. While editing photos, it will be a very good thing. It has a pixel density of 450 ppi, pixels per inch, and has a peak brightness of 1400 nits, which I feel like under the sun is pretty bright, but I feel like it can be brighter. Mind you that this is actually not their flagship phone, so I wouldn't expect a lot from this phone. And also it supports always on display. So it's running on a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, 4nm, and has a GPU of Qualcomm Adreno 730. The specs are actually quite last gen specs, but I can still make do with the last gen specs because it's pretty snappy. I didn't feel any lag while using the phone. So I can still play some CPU intensive games such as Mobile Legends. Just kidding, it's not that. I can still play Dead Trigger if you guys still play that game without any lag. Due to compatibility issues, most games are running at 60 FPS. It has a battery size of 4700 mAh and supports 100-watt SuperVOOC charging. You know how fast is 100-watt SuperVOOC charging? Within 9.5 minutes, around 10 minutes, you can get 50% of battery life. You can charge 0 to 100 in around 28 minutes. It's blazing fast. You win some, you lose some, so you do not have the wireless charging. So it's running on the operating system of the ColorOS 13.1, running on the stock Android version of Android 13. It supports stereo speakers, but I feel like these speakers are not the best. It's a lot more on the lighter end and doesn't have a good bass. Let's listen more of what the speaker can do. It has IR blasters, meaning that I can actually turn on the television just by using this phone without any remote. Press on this app right over here. Yep, I just turned it on with my phone. So I'm gonna turn it off to not get any copyrighted issues. So yeah, that's pretty good. And this is how the app looks like on the phone. It's like a virtual remote. Alright, so let's talk about the best part of this phone, which is the camera. It has a triple camera system. Main camera which runs at 50 megapixels, ultra wide running at 8 megapixels, and the whopping 64 megapixel telephoto lens, which means that this is the highest megapixel that a telephoto can get on a phone. It doesn't mean that a higher megapixels makes a better picture. It's how you take the picture and how you compose a picture. So like what they always say is, it's not about the car, it's about the driver. Same as photography, it's not about the camera, it's about the person behind the camera. Having 61 megapixels is quite awesome lah, because you can zoom all the way in. It supports 3x optical zoom all the way to 120 times digital zoom. I was at Marina Bay area. From one end, I can go up to the opposite side of Marina Bay. Quality is quite good for a phone. But if you compare it to a DSLR, obviously DSLR is always better. But I'm pretty scared though because quality is getting on par with cameras nowadays. So for the main camera, it's actually using the same as previous phone that I reviewed, the OPPO Find N2 Flip. It's running at f1.8. For me, the ultra-wide angle lens is not that good because it's 8 megapixel and it's different from everything else. For example, the Find X5 Pro 5G, which I reviewed last year, it has a better ultra-wide and a better main camera. The zoom feature really sucks because it doesn't have any telephoto lens. But for this phone, it actually has a better telephoto lens, but the ultra-wide sucks. For the front, it has 32 megapixel camera. It takes decent selfie portrait. Let's try out the camera right now. Let's try the selfie. Portrait mode on the front. Let's try out the back camera right now. Portrait mode now. Selfie camera lack details. That's good, that's good. It shoots in 4K, 60fps and also 30fps. There's no 8K feature yet on this phone. I don't think so there will ever be an 8K feature on this phone. But on the ultra wide, it's still using 1080p. And also at the front, it's still using the 1080p at 30fps. And let's try the video. The video at the front is running at 1080p and I feel like it's not good because it's 1080p. A couple of days ago, I went out to Marina Bay to actually shoot some fireworks. I'm going to show you some sample images I took of that day. One thing bad about mobile photography is that it doesn't have any aperture control. To counter the no aperture, I actually had to use ND filters, which I did not have on that day when I shoot the fireworks. So I just had to rely on 1 to 2 seconds and possibly the images being out of focus. From what I see from these images, it turned out pretty awesome, pretty okay. The fireworks images are pretty decent. Taking into note that this is actually not a flagship phone, it doesn't have the RAW capabilities. I'm just shooting it on JPEG. I can't really edit the photos to the best I can because it's not shooting on RAW. I was putting it on a tripod and for what I say, it's pretty sharp. I was shooting it on the Pro mode, which you guys can check it out by going to More and also go to Pro. Shutter speed was at 1 to 2 seconds. When I took the jet, right, it actually sucked so bad because I cannot have the manual control over it. When I shoot in the Pro mode, I cannot burst shot, just completely miss the part where they actually go past each other. The reason why I shoot on Pro mode, because it's using auto, most of the shutter speed is very, very low. So when the shutter speed is low, the jet becomes super blurry. I shot on Pro mode so I can control the shutter speed. Some of the photos are pretty decent of the fighter jet. I can still see the details outline of the fighter jet, which I feel like is pretty good for this kind of phone. You can shoot a lot of moon images and in this portrait mode during the day is just awesome. It just looks super like DSLR. Most of the time I shoot it on the high resolution mode, which only allows me to shoot 1 times to 3 times. 3 times, as you know, is shooting on the 64 megapixel, so I can just crop in easily, so I have better control of the camera. If I do not have the quality that I want, I'll go to the Pro mode and I'll just adjust the shutter speed myself. But I would say that the low light autofocus on this phone really isn't that good. Keep on missing it. Overall, this camera is a good package if you want a good telephoto camera. For the price that you are paying it for, 1,149, I feel like it's a good deal. The main selling point of this phone is actually the telephoto lens. I feel like it's very, very good. You can get very unique shots with this. There is it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. And if you guys like this video, please give a thumbs up. Until then, until my next phone review, thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.